Good morning, everybody. Welcome to, what day is it today? Tuesday morning. Welcome to the devotion. I want to speak about speaking and not speaking. So it's good to say speak life. It's good to say speak the word. It's good to say speak. You'll have what you say. But also, you will not have what you don't say. Okay? All right, so Prophet Grievous used to say, hello Ma, hello Janine. So Prophet Grievous used to say, he said, stick out your tongue, touch your tongue, and say, if it wasn't for you. Okay, so many things that people struggle with, so many people have all kinds of issues because of what they say. Okay, simply because of what they say. Okay, so many people, aka everyone. Just if you don't catch my drift. Yes, it includes you and me. Okay, so Proverbs Chapter 18. Let's just read some scriptures. I'm going to read a couple of just scriptures in Proverbs and some other chapters as well, just about speaking and not speaking. All right, are you ready? Okay, so Proverbs 18 says, he who willfully separates and estranges himself from God and man seeks his own desire and pretext to break out against all wise and sound judgment. A self-confident fool has no delight in understanding, but only in revealing his personal opinions and himself. Okay, so if it's a good rule of thumb, if you only have a desire to express what you know, instead of to learn to really find truth, then you're in danger of being a fool. Okay. When the wicked comes into the depth of evil, he becomes a contemptuous despiser of all that is pure and good. We see that so much these days. And with inner baseness comes out outer shame and reproach. Verse 4, the words of a discreet and wise man's mouth are like deep waters, plenteous and difficult to fathom, and the fountain of skillful and godly wisdom is like a gushing stream, sparkling, fresh, pure, and life-giving. How awesome is that? The words of a fool versus the words of a discreet and wise man. Okay? All women. Let's jump to verse 7. A self-confident fool's mouth is his ruin, and his lips are a snare to himself. So you feel like you want to give that person a piece of your mind. Sometimes you really feel like it. But what you're doing is you're just putting a snare out to just catch yourself. Okay? Verse 8. The words of a whisperer or a talebearer are as dainty morsels. They go down into the innermost parts of the body. Okay, so there's the listening part again. You know, when someone comes, have you heard? Did you know what that person did? Just refuse it. It goes down into your innermost parts. So that it means this, you basically fill up your heart with judgment of all kinds of stuff of people. Rather speak about the good stuff Jesus did and about testimonies that people did. Okay? I don't want to hear what this person or that person did. I don't want to. Because my response will only be, they're forgiven. So if I go and speak to them, I'll bring them the good news. So instead of talking about them, why don't you just bring them the good news or just pray for them? Okay, they go down into the innermost parts of the body. So this can be so easily said, this is what we should do until it happens in your own house. Okay? Or until it happens in your own family. And then sometimes it's just good to hold your tongue. Okay, so easy to want to burst forth and describe everything that you don't like, or I don't like. Yeah. All right, but it's better to hold the tongue. It's better in that if there's any doubt whether you should say something, don't say it. Yeah. All right. So yes, it affects you. A self-confident fool's mouth is his ruin. Okay, and I've stepped in that trap many times. But it says the words of a whisperer or talebearer are as dainty morsels. So not only do you trap yourself, but you put something in the hearts of other people that shouldn't be there. Okay. Verse 21. So, most important of chapter 18, what I want to read. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they who indulge in it shall eat the fruit of it. Death or life. Okay, and then I just have to throw this one in. He who finds a true wife finds a good thing. Okay. Good. Okay. Proverbs chapter 13. Proverbs chapter 13, verse 3 says, He who guards his mouth keeps his life, but he who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. So some things are definitely better left unsaid. All right, Proverbs chapter 15. Verse 1, a soft answer turns away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. Okay, so think about that if there's anger in your direct environment. Soft word turns away wrath, a grievous word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise utters knowledge rightly, but the mouth of the self-confident fool pours out folly. The eyes of the Lord are on every place, keeping watch over upon the evil and the good. A gentle tongue with its healing power is a tree of life. But willful contrariness in it breaks down the spirit. So willful contrariness, it breaks you down. The King James says is a breach in the spirit. Okay? Verse 5, a fool despises his father's instruction and correction, but he who regards reproof acquires prudence. So when the father, remember Hebrews 12, the father corrects us, he deals with us as with sons, so which father does not correct his children? So the father corrects us, but he corrects us with his word. So that means his word needs to be in our hearts, on our lips, and that's what we should be meditating upon. Psalm 19, let the words of the meditation of my heart and the words of my lips be acceptable to you. Verse 23, a man has joy in making an apt answer, and a word spoken at the right moment, how good it is. So imagine if your heart and mind is meditating on the correction of the Father, on the word, on the truth, and you embrace the correction. Imagine how wonderful is it then when you speak words. You know, when you open your mouth and you say something and it just has an effect. Okay? So I can use Hendrik as an example for that. Okay? Hendrik in the church, Hendrik the brain. He always, you know, he doesn't speak a lot. But, you know, like when people prophesy, and people say things, and he would just keep quiet, and then he would just throw a one-liner, boom, and it's like, all right? So it's much like that, okay? All right, so let's go back to Proverbs chapter 10, verse 19 says, in a multitude of words, transgression is not lacking. But he who restrains his lips is prudent. In a multitude of words, transgression is not lacking. But he who restrains his lips are prudent. It says here in the King James, in the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin. All right? So sometimes it's our words that place the trap in front of us. Okay? So Ecclesiastes, I'm going to come back to Proverbs, but Ecclesiastes chapter 5 says the following. Verse 1, keep your foot, give your mind to what you are doing when you go, as Jacob to sacred Bethel, to the house of the Lord. Okay, so give your mind to what you're doing when you're going to. So be intentional about it. Okay? When you go to the house of the Lord. So now you are the house of the Lord. With other words, when you in spirit approach God. For to draw near to hear and obey is better than to give the sacrifice of fools. So we don't want to be the ones giving the sacrifice of fools. Okay, carelessly, irreverently, etc. Verse 2, be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter a word before God. For God is in heaven and you are on earth. Therefore, let your words be few. For a dream comes with much business and painful effort, and a fool's voice with many words. Okay, let's jump over to the King James. For a dream cometh through the multitude of business. So now it's a simile, okay? And a fool's voice is known by the multitude of words. So if you have a dream, you're going to work hard to do it. Do you want to see what a fool's voice comes with? Multitude of words. Okay? So sometimes we need to just say what we need to say. Just look at Jesus. You know, he would just say what the Father says. It doesn't really matter if he answered their question or not. It doesn't really matter if, you know, he complied with all the demands of the Pharisees. He didn't really care. He would just say something that needed to be said in this answer. So he would address the situation instead of answering the question. So he would speak wisdom from the secret place instead of being led by the questionings and the demands and the insistence of people. We need to be spirit-led and not situation-led. Okay? So we need to say what God says. So verse 6 says, do not allow your mouth to cause your body to sin. And do not say before the messenger, the priest, that it was an error or a mistake. Okay, etc. I want to focus on that first sentence. Do not allow your mouth to cause your body to sin. So, if you have messed up somewhere, if you retrace your steps in the last couple of months, what have you been saying? Just think about this. It's not only what you've been declaring out in the open, what you've been saying, you know, to everybody that when you're among people, but what is coming out of your mouth when you're alone? What is coming out of your mouth when something irritating happens, or when someone pushes you too far, or when someone, you know, is being human? So it's not, there's grace, obviously, there's mercy, we receive it and we go forward. But what I'm saying is, we prophesy our own futures. We set the snare for ourselves to step in. With your words, you create desires. With your words, you create awareness of certain things. So if your words causes you to desire the wrong stuff, then maybe it's time to check what we say. All right? So maybe then we need to shut our mouth for one thing, but open it for the other thing. Shut our mouth for the carnal thoughts and giving expression to it, and open our mouth to what God is saying. Okay? So Ephesians chapter 4. Verse 29 says, let no foul or polluting language, nor evil word, nor unwholesome or worthless talk ever come out of your mouth. So maybe it's a good time to just press the reset button and start checking what we say. Yeah. Not because we want to be religious, not because we want to gain heaven points by doing so, but we want to be sure to speak the right stuff into our own futures. Okay? And to start controlling our bodies instead of reacting to our bodies. But only such speech as is good and beneficial to the spiritual progress of others, as is fitting to the need and the occasion, that it may be a blessing and give grace to those who hear it. So if people are baiting you to react in a certain way, and they do it all the time, especially these days. If people do that, rather say something beneficial to their spiritual progress instead of reacting to the bait. Don't take the bait. Don't be in reaction, because then they set the narrative and they can manipulate you and force you into any corner they want. Okay? But if you are just stepping back and not with emotions, react to whatever the situation is, then you take back the direction of where things are going. And if you then just say what God says, they will not have an answer to it. Okay? So, where should we go? James chapter 3, that we know so well. So, come on, James. So, James chapter 3, verse 1 says, "Not many of you should become teachers." That word teachers, in brackets, there's different words that it may also take on. In the translation, self-constituted censors. In other words, you think you have the right to criticize everybody and say your opinion about everybody. So you censor them, and reprovers of others. So that word teacher is more in the context of people speaking about other people than it is about actually teaching. Okay? My brethren, for you know that we teachers, we will be judged by a higher standard. So it's judge not, lest thou be judged. So if you put yourself in a position of judgment, the judgment will come back. Okay? With the greater severity in other people, thus we assume the greater accountability. Verse 2, "For we all often stumble and fall and offend in many things. And if anyone does not offend in speech," or King James says in word, "if anyone never says the wrong things, he is a fully developed character, perfect man, able to control his whole body and to curb his entire nature." So if we think we believe the gospel, we believe the grace, we believe the mercy, awesome. We even meditate on it. But somewhere there's still some program that's been programmed in the days of law in your mind. And that is sustained by the culture in our society. It's sustained by the culture in your family and even in your house, that causes you to automatically react in a certain way. Yes, but they should know better, blah, 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 blah. Yes, but no. Yes, but he should have done this. Yes, but yeah, blah, 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 blah. I find myself doing it. Okay? How about we just say, all right, what is it supposed to be like? So instead of bringing judgment to others, instead of saying something that, or even revealing someone else's faults that's like a dainty morsel going down into the innermost, how about we just stop for a minute and just say, okay, what is it supposed to be like? And then declare that. Say, this is what we're going to see. We are going to see this situation turn into that situation in Jesus' name. Or something. But not letting it be unwholesome or foul. Okay? Because what happens is you stir up your own desires when you judge someone else. Okay? What happens is, like, on the inside of you, when you speak about the stuff other people do, you become aware of it, and there's almost like a fellowship with that idea inside you. It's an awareness. It comes into your meditation. So rather just say, wow, God is so good that, man, he's going to just transform this guy's life. God is so good that he's going to bring, even right now we agree now, God is bringing life and light to that person. So what will you experience? Life and light. What will that person experience? Life and light. Instead of saying, yeah, but, blah, 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 and these people shouldn't be like this, and preachers shouldn't be like this or this or this or this, And preachers are also people, and preachers need grace just as much as anybody else. But what are we saying? Okay? If you see someone is battling with a certain thing and they're stuck in their minds and in their actions, why don't you just go to them and speak the truth to them? Go to them and bring them grace, bring them mercy, bring them the blood of Jesus that brought us salvation. That is the truth of the cross, the truth of the person Jesus. And we speak words that build them up. We speak words that bring healing, that bind up their hearts. We speak words that bring them back up onto their feet and restores them, rather than making yourself a self-proclaimed censor of others and going with a sword to hit or to stab. It's not going to help. What's going to help is a soft word turns away the wrath. Okay? So we have such a powerful tool. That tool, with that we can diffuse any situation. With that we can bring life to any person. And as we do it, we bring life to ourselves. Okay? All right. Ecclesiastes chapter 10. Not Ecclesiastics. Ecclesiastes. Okay. The words, verse 12, the words of a wise man's mouth are gracious and win him favor, but the lips of a fool consume him. The beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness, and the end of his talk is wicked madness. A fool also multiplies words. Though no man can tell what will be and what will happen after he is gone, who can tell him? Okay, the labor of fools wearies every one of them, because he is so ignorant of the ordinary matters that he does not even know how to get to town. I like that. Okay, but I think you kind of get the idea of what I'm saying. Okay, I just want to quickly go to Matthew chapter 6. So it's such a simple thing, but it can change so much. It's so good, when we're in the faith mode to proclaim and say, and that's good, please do it. But when you're just in packing the dishwasher mode, or, it's being stuck in traffic mode, or, doing ordinary things mode, watch what you say. Okay, Matthew chapter 6. Verse 6 is, when you pray, go into your most private room. And closing the door, that's like the secret place. But it can be a room actual room that you close the door. Close the door, pray to your Father who is in secret, the secret place. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you in open. Okay, so you come to God and you believe that He is, and that He is a rewarder. Okay, verse 7. And when you pray, do not heap up phrases, multiply words, repeating the same ones over and over, as the Gentiles do, for they think they will be heard for their much speaking. Do not be like them, for your Father knows what you need before you ask Him. Pray therefore like this. Our Father who is in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our debt as we have forgiven those who trespass, our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, the evil one. For yours is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. If you forgive people their trespasses, Father will also forgive you. Don't forgive, Father will not forgive you. And we know that Colossians chapter 3, verse 13 and 14 says, we forgive as He has forgiven us. Okay, so thank you, Jesus. Okay, but the point is we need to forgive. chicken or the egg? Which is first? Does it matter? The point is you have the forgiveness of Christ. That's a fact. And the point is that because of that you have the ability to forgive. So forgive. Forgive people. Forgive people before your mouth causes your body to be stuck. Okay? So, such a simple thing, it may not even sound very spiritual to some. But the word of faith is near you, in your heart and on your lips. Deuteronomy chapter 30 and Romans chapter 10. So, what are we going to speak? Out of the abundance of the heart, Luke 6, Matthew 12, the heart speaks. Okay? So, what is the abundance of our hearts? So, if a wise man does not despise the correction. A wise man does not despise the instruction of his father. Okay? So, what are we meditating on? Meditate. Or do we just have a desire to speak our mind and just open our mouths wide? All right. But then, the right word at the right time, how good it is. All right. So the words of a wise man is like a tree of life. So death and life is in the power of the tongue. And they that use it will eat the fruit thereof. All right. So create your reality. If you speak something, your mind follows what you speak. So the best way to get your meditation on target is to say what you need to meditate on. Which causes you to think on it and meditate and think on it, which causes you to say it more. So it's like a strengthening upward spiral. But it's the same downwards. What you say, your mind will definitely follow. If you say something, you can't think something else and say something. Your mind follows. Okay? So don't let there be dissonance inside you. We were watching the other day this video, and this guy explained this concept called cognitive, is the word I'm looking for. Cognitive dissonance. Now, cognitive dissonance is when someone says something, and usually it's really a bold statement. But even in the face of facts and truth, contrary to what this person says, even if it's proven beyond a doubt that what they said is wrong, they kind of feel too embarrassed to admit that they were wrong, that they just keep on going on the same track. Have you ever seen that? Have you ever been that? So you think, no, but still, you know. Don't despise the correction. Don't despise but the thing is, if you didn't say so much, you wouldn't have had to, say sorry, I was wrong. So sometimes, so many times I've said it, and then I think I'm going to say this, and then I just decided to keep quiet. Then afterwards, I'm so glad I kept quiet. So sometimes, yes, stand up and speak the truth boldly, but let it be from a place of love. But sometimes, be still and know that I'm God. Not I, Gerrit. God is God. But he says, be still and know that I'm God. So sometimes, stop screaming at God so that you can actually hear what he's trying to say to you. Okay? Stop screaming at everything that's wrong and start prophesying the truth, how it's supposed to be. All right. Hope this has blessed you. Let me just greet everyone again. Hello, Janine, and hello, Ma. And Afzal Masih, bless you there from Pakistan. And Yanni, good morning. I hope you're feeling so good, man. And Rob, be blessed, Rob. It's good to see you always here. So may you all just have an awesome day, and may you just speak what is edifying and good, bringing grace to your hearers. All right. We'll see you again tomorrow morning. Lene is going to really bless you with the word, so be blessed and have an awesome day. Amen.